Hey everybody, welcome to the Geek Reloading podcast. I am your host Adam, and as always, my co-host Josh.
Hello.
And this episode, it actually came about because I was talking with a few co-workers because I just happen to be such a big geek that they notice it, because even on Zoom and stuff, they'll see kind of stuff around my house or whatever. And so this episode is talking about how gaming and pop culture has kind of seeped into everyday life. And everyday culture in general. So that's kind of what the episode is, right, Josh?
Yeah, so we've talked about before, like, we kind of grew up in a place, in a time frame where gaming was kind of weird, like, it wasn't really accepted and everything, but it's so, like, prevalent now. I mean, everyone knows someone that games, plain and simple.
Yeah, and also, like, it's gone outside of just it's video games and their marketing materials, and that's it. And now there's limited editions that come with clothing or bumper stickers or soundtracks or all sorts of stuff. So we're just going to kind of talk about some of the ones that we notice are like different elements of gaming that have seeped into our everyday life. And, you know, maybe they'll make it so you'll kind of think of some that have popped into your life.
Yeah, and if you have stuff that we've missed, like, shout out to us, let us know, because it's kind of an interesting concept to really think about how much stuff has just kind of like gone through our lives and just kind of connects. And granted, like, we're gamers, we love gaming, we love video games and everything, but like, there's people that don't necessarily love video games that still have a lot of gaming stuff in their lives.
Yeah, yeah, totally. So Josh, well, there's a couple that, like, the very first one that you're going to bring up is one that I think that everybody around our generation, we've all done this, I think.
Yeah, and it's text and call sounds from video games and everything. Mm-hmm. And it's just connecting to, like, it's just such a simple thing, but yet I remember, like, having to, like, rip and download music and then, like, trying to pull, like, little sounds off of certain games and everything. Like, for the longest time, I had the Final Fantasy Chocobo Wark on as my text, and I was working at the hospital one day, and when it was going off a bunch because I was getting a lot of texts that day, and it came out, or it went off when one of the nurses was in the room, and it scared her to death, and she was like, "What is that?" Like,
well, I mean, that's not a noise you're going to hear in a hospital, like a small creature possibly coming from your groin. Those are all valid concerns.
Exactly. Trust me. Yeah, I understand. But it was so weird because she was actually kind of bothered by the sound. And I was like, I mean, it's just a notification. And then, like, it was like 10 minutes later, another nurse came in and it went off, and he's like, "Wait a minute, is that a chocobo?" And, like, it spawned like a 10-15 minute conversation just about Final Fantasy and the games we liked. And it's so weird how something so small can connect people, but that's what gaming has done a lot lately.
Oh yeah. And I mean, like I said, to piggyback off this, I mean, I remember utilizing Phone Zoo. Do you remember Phone Zoo? That was how you would get stuff sent to you. You'd have to find the track. Somebody else had made it. Then you'd send it to your phone via text message, and that was the only way you could save the sound as a ringtone. And it was like this whole hullabaloo. Now it's like you find any song on your Spotify or on your phone, and you can just set it as a ringtone. But back in the day, you had to hustle for those, man. It was crazy.
I remember getting on, like, I don't know what it was, Pirate Bay at the time or something, and getting just like sound video game sounds, like 2 gigs of video game sounds, and it was just the craziest stuff.
Yeah, and when I was working at Verizon, of all places, oh goodness, there was, I had the Metal Gear Solid, the little, like, calling noise when they would call him. That was my text message, and it was the same kind of thing. It was the same kind of thing as your Chocobo thing. Same kind of thing. Like, I would have a text message come through, and some people would be like, "Is that Metal Gear Solid?" I'm like, "Yes, it is. Yes, it is."
And everyone else is just like, "Oh, that's a little ringtone." Like, they didn't know, but, like, if you know, you know.
Yeah.
I remember when I found out that you had that number, there was one day we were hanging out and I, like, texted you like 4 or 5 times when you were sitting next to me just to hear that ring. I love that thing. That was so awesome.
Yeah, like nobody ever uses ringtones anymore, so that's kind of like it's a days past. Like my phone's on vibrate constantly.
Yeah, nobody texts me anymore. It's awesome. But okay, so another one is like just kind of connecting with that is just connecting with people that you wouldn't normally. Like gaming has become such a normal thing. Like I work in a place where there's a lot of sports nuts and people like that, and I've just found out like most of these guys that are, are talking sports all day, and I'm kind of just smiling and nodding in the corner, like the redhead stepchild. They're also like bro gamers and stuff, and like a couple of them are like awesome, like amazing at like Call of Duty and like kind of those more bro gamery stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like we have that connection. I know one of the stories that I wanted to bring up was like my brother-in-law. Like we played games a couple times. Like I knew he played games, but he played Call of Duty, Black Ops, and stuff like that. And he ran me through Black Ops a couple times, like the zombies, because I thought it was really fun.
Yeah.
And he was amazing. And I was like, hey, you know what? I was really into Destiny at the time. I was like, why don't you come over and try out Destiny? I'll even pick it up for you. But he had already bought it. And like my buddy James and we ran him through a couple at the beginning, and all of a sudden, like it was like 2 weeks later, he was higher level than I was. Like he was helping me get through some of the like the PvP stuff, because
That's awesome.
He was just amazing at it. And it's really weird how you can just connect with people even if you're not really of the same cloth cut. Like there's still that connection with gaming.
Yeah, I think what was interesting just as I was growing up was noticing just you could kind of see how the circles of people who would game would grow. I mean, I remember in high school, like a guy would like in gym, he'd like come over and he'd like, yo, I hear you like video games. I'm like, hell yeah, I do. And then we would have like a little conversation, and then a couple other people in that same class maybe would play video games, right? But now it was like everyone games.
Are you guys talking about Final Fantasy? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, have you played this? Like, and all of a sudden, like, bonds get formed really quick.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that it was that, but then like now, most people, that's like the default. It's no longer this, oh, he happens to like gaming, and that's crazy. But now it's like, no, everyone games for the most part. Everyone, our generation and younger, it's kind of assumed that they're gamers first rather than they aren't gamers first. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah. And honestly, I'm not a great person about that. I want to admit that I kind of like when people are like, oh no, I don't game. Like, I'm kind of like, really?
Yeah.
What's wrong with you? Honestly, yeah. like I my wife was telling me about one of the people she works with was like, oh, I would never date a gamer. And she's just like, why? Like, okay, you have no one to date then. Good luck.
Yeah.
So just, yeah, it's just normal now. And it's really interesting. It's changed that way.
So another one that I think that you and me both obviously know is just that a thing that has just literally shown just how much gaming has seeped into our lives is the fact that you and me both moderate an entire Utah-based gaming community. And it's like a daily thing that we both check in, and we work with other moderators to make sure that we have an awesome, thriving community. And that's kind of like the crazy highest level of telltaling that gaming's taken into part of our everyday life.
And you're definitely doing a lot more work than I am. I haven't been very good lately, but it's something that we both care about, and we both, want to make sure. And we check in with people, and like we're willing to put in extra time to help this stuff. Yeah. Yeah. And
it's something that you and me both like. I mean, we've created a lot of great connections that way. But also like it does, sometimes it feels like a chore to do that because it's a daily check-in. It's something that, we try and post good content. We have to moderate when people are being bitches, stuff like that, but it's definitely like a labor of love.
Yeah, and what I really liked about the community is like I've been connecting with people not just about gaming. Like we have gaming in common and we can talk about that. And it's always fun to like get together with someone online to play a game that you both love, that you've been talking about it for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But like lately I've been trying to do the writing thing, and one of our other mods in the group, she's got a couple published books, and so I kind of started talking to her about writing, not necessarily gaming, and it's been really super interesting. She's given me a lot of encouragement, so it kind of just branches things to even bigger. Anyways,
yeah, no, absolutely. You can meet people that do all sorts of cool stuff. I mean, we had some people that, like there's a PC builder, and he's built a computer for you, and he's done computer upgrades for me, and we met him through gaming, though, through the gaming group. And then there's another guy who was into cars, and he gave me like some recommendations when I was looking for a car. And so like we all started because of gaming, but then we found better or more various things, or yeah, it was pretty cool, like a lot of variety, but it all roots from us being all in the same group first.
Yeah, I'm always, honestly, I'm always really excited and appreciative when I go on to the group and be like, hey, so does anyone know about sewing or something? And all of a sudden, like, you have all these gamers that are like, oh yeah, I've been doing that. Like, like random stuff. Like, it's just crazy.
Yeah, for real. So yeah. One that I've just recently gotten back into, but for a while you were super into, was video game soundtracks for like while you're working or while you're working out or while you're hanging out. I've gotten back into soundtracks in a huge way. I went back to Final Fantasy X. I got Final Fantasy 15, Journey. I have the Life is Strange soundtracks, and I love those as well. But soundtracks are like a big one that I've had songs from video games on like mixes when we go on vacations and stuff too. Even it's kind of crazy.
Nice. So you gave me the Final Fantasy X soundtrack, and oh my gosh, that is like by far my favorite soundtrack. Like, it's amazing. It's so beautiful, and there's so many connections. I still have, like we were talking before, I've still got I can't remember the name of the song, but everyone knows it if you know Final Fantasy X.
Mm-hmm.
That song is my ringtone. So it's just like, it's really interesting. Like, I haven't been listening to the soundtracks too much lately, but I have an entire like a lo-fi chill like playlist on Spotify that's just like video game music, and it's just no words, so I can write through it, and that's what I've got it set up for. But it's so nice because it's stuff that you're connected with, but it's not necessarily like something you're going to be singing along with.
Yeah, you're the one that recommended for me the Legend of Zelda lo-fi mix on Spotify.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, I've got because the guy that I sent you, he did a second album, and then like there's like 3 or 4 more that I'm just like, I love this. So there's a lot of really cool lo-fi and like different things like that based around gaming.
That's so killer. Killer.
Yeah, I've got to share you the Legend of Synthwave. I was really surprised. I didn't think I liked Synthwave, but Legend of Zelda's music in Synthwave is pretty awesome.
Now you know you do.
Now I know.
So, dude, another one, obviously, you and me both have a lot of this because you do stencils and I do prints, but we have a bunch of art and prints and like all of my phone backgrounds, my computer backgrounds, all those kind of things. Those are always video game based.
See, and you're smart. Your phone is always up to date on that stuff. I forget about it and just don't pay attention. But seriously, like I've been trying to redo my basement, and we've got stacks of artwork because we did the con scene, and I was really lucky that a lot of people wanted to trade for my artwork, so I got a lot of artwork from them that way. And you're right, like it's just I've got so much artwork that's video game related. Most of it's video game related, and it's so fun because it's just a little connection to that history and other stuff that way.
Yeah, like we're with the new house, we're putting art up and everything, and I have an entire poster roll full of probably, I want to say 30, 40 different prints that are varying from 8 by 10, 12 by 18, all the way to 20 by 30 sized, plus the ones that I built for myself. Like it's an insane amount of artwork, and I'm probably not gonna be able to fit it all. That's what I'm noticing.
Oh yeah, like we got to the point where we had this idea where we actually took, so if we had like 4 or 5 pictures from one artist that we really liked, we would put them all in the same frame, and then we would switch them out once in a while. And so
that's smart thinking.
Yeah, and so it's like you're keeping them in the rotation, but they're not always there, so they're always fresh. It's a cool idea.
Yeah, I like that, man. I'm going to have to keep that in mind, because I'm not going to find enough spaces for all these to be out at once.
Well, and, you know, my thing is like, I'll get an artist that I really like, and I'll be like, oh, I love this, I love this, I love this. And then there's a few times where I got lucky, and he was like, dude, I love your stuff. Like, if you want to do art trades, let's do it. And so he starts, I've got a ton of artwork from a lot of these people, and it's just like, all right, well, I don't feel I can justify 6 of your art on this wall, but I still want them all.
For real.
So, yeah.
So,
yeah,
like you have the next one, right?
Yeah, the terminology and concepts using gaming references and real world settings. Like, it is really interesting how we communicate that way. Mm-hmm. Like, and like you've got some actually good explanations and stuff here. I'll let you go on that.
Well, no, like, I mean, the way that I equate it is that if you think about people who are into sports and stuff, they'll use sports terminology or sports terms to refer to things in business or in family or whatever, right? But it's also the same kind of thing with the terminology in gaming and stuff. Like one of my friends that I used to work with, he used to always refer to, you know, like, hey, let's party up and go to lunch. Like, party up as in like an MMORPG, right?
That's awesome.
Yeah, exactly. We used to joke about like Final Fantasy VII, like when someone reaches their limit break because they're pissed off, or, you know, like they've filled their overdrive gauge, that kind of stuff. But there was one, like, I don't know why, but me and our Halo guy friends that were growing up, like, when something bad happened, like say someone eats shit in front of you or someone gets rocked in the nuts or something like that, for some reason we'd all be like, woot, 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 like the exact like Covenant elite voice. And I don't know why, but it was like our version of yeet way back in the day. That was our that was our big thing.
That is super funny. And like no one would know what you're talking about unless they played, and then they'd be like, wait a minute, was that? Yeah, that's so funny.
It makes you wonder, though, like the fact that we were that geeky, that was our generation's version of like a Naruto run, I think. I think that was kind of like everyone outside of that zeitgeist was like, what the fuck are you doing? I think that's probably what it was.
Exactly. I mean, I remember because it's like, I've had a couple times where it's like certain friends, I'll be like, he gets called into the boss's office and I'm like, dude, you're going in for the boss fight, you know?
Yeah.
Like, good luck with this. I hope you're prepared.
For real, right?
Yeah, it's so funny, but it is. It's just like the concepts and ideas in gaming, like grinding. Grinding is a big thing for me as well. Like, you know, I just got to grind on this, and, you know, cleaning up a room or something. I'm like, I hate grinding, but I do it in games, so I got to do it in real world.
Right.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
So, we're getting kind of closer to the end. This one is like the biggest one, man, that definitely just started this entire thing. And that is clothing and accessories from video games, like whether it's a video game themed or actually from the video games. That's the one that started all this conversation for me, man. I mean, you and me both are big suckers for t-shirts, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. My wife, she gets me the best gaming t-shirts ever.
Yeah, and once again, since you did the con circuit and stuff, you were able to get really cool hookups with some of the local vendors that do t-shirts and stuff as well.
Yeah, and there's just some cool stuff. Like, you really connect with the weirdest stuff. Like, I'm trying to think of anything that comes to mind right now, but there are a lot of like really small inside jokes that no one's gonna get.
Yeah,
like I just saw I just saw a couple days ago, like there's a whole like Borderlands gun like weapon manufacturer T-shirt line now, and it's like, you know, if you know the game and you see someone with the Torg symbol on his chest, you're like, oh, I know exactly what that is. But everyone else that doesn't know that game is going to be like, I wonder what that is, and not think about it again.
Yeah, there was one that was the Seventh Heaven bar. Is that the Final Fantasy VII bar that's owned by Tifa and Barrett?
Oh yeah.
Is that what it is? Is it Seventh Heaven? But it was that. But like the shirt looked like a regular shirt that any bar would put out as merchandise, right?
Yes. So, I love those things.
Yeah, and then like at the very bottom, like it looked like an old timey pub sign, and then at the bottom it just had like a bumper sticker that said Avalanche, and it was the Avalanche symbol. So like anybody who sees that would just assume it's kind of like a bar shirt, but the fact that it's got that little hint and then it goes from there, that's what I think is pretty awesome when you see some of this geeky stuff.
Yeah. Or you get the postcards. Postcards are big. Like my wife has gotten a lot of these postcards that are, you know, welcome to Halo, and it looks like a scenic picture of the Halo world. It's just like I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah. My biggest one, and I've been doing this for years, is especially besides the shirts, because probably easily a third of my shirts are based around video game or pop culture or comic books or something. But wallets and keychains are the two big ones that I almost always have that are video game based or pop culture based. Like right now, I've had a Final Fantasy X one, which was super uncomfortable because it was a giant sharp sword. I had like the Witcher symbol, which is also uncomfortable because it's a sharp pointed wolf. But then the one that I currently have is the Borderlands symbol. That's my keychain right now. And my wallet was a retro Nintendo wallet for a while. So, I mean, like, those are the ones that I always have. Like, guaranteed I probably have something geeky, whether it's a keychain or a wallet, all the time. That and shirts. Those are the big ones that I think are mine for sure.
My brother, he had this old, like, Mario Brothers wallet that he found it used at like Savers or something, like he just replaced it a couple years ago, and it was falling apart. I mean, it was more hole than it was wallet at that point. But it's those kind of things you kind of connect with and you just love.
It's nice though that now like it's part of the culture to also have those clothing and accessories. Back in the day, you'd be lucky if you found a Sega shirt or a Nintendo shirt that wasn't like for a kid, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Like it wasn't for adults. It just wasn't normal for that.
Yeah.
Or big kids even at that time.
Yeah, but now you go to Target or Walmart and half of their shirts are video game based and they're for kids and adults.
Yeah, exactly. And one thing I really like, especially like with the wallets and the shirts and stuff, like you find these weird connections. You'll be checking out at this place and all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, hey, I really like your shirt." And you go, "Oh, thanks." And that starts up a conversation. Like, right?
Yeah, it jumps back into the connecting with people that you wouldn't normally connect with.
Yeah, exactly. Like I've got way back in the day, like a lot of people had the Akira shirt with him walking to his bike.
Yeah.
And I've got like 3 or 4 now of different characters walking to their bikes. Like I've got Cloud walking to his. I've got like Yang from Ruby walking to her bike. And it is so interesting, like when people are like, "Oh, that's Akira, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, but it's from this." And they're like, "Oh, that is so cool." Like it's just those really cool connections that, you know.
Yeah, and when those mashups, that like your Akira, Final Fantasy one, those kinds of like mashups they're probably my favorite form of fan art and pop culture and like stuff. Like when they mix two different things like that and it's pulled off really well, it's probably my favorite style that people do.
Oh yeah, like, and it's nice because especially when you find one that connects to like really loved games. Like I've got one that's Booker and Elizabeth from BioShock Infinite falling through 2 portals. And I'm like, I love that. And then my buddy James, he got me one that it's Claptrap as a Vault Hunter. And I'm just like, I fucking love it. That's so funny.
Awesome.
But yeah, it's just it's great to have those connections. So
yeah,
I keep saying
sure.
that, but that's really what it comes down to for me, is like being able to talk to someone about something that you love and you find out that they love, and it's an easy way to connect with people.
For real. So Josh, you got the last one, man.
Oh, the last one I just wanted to really quick touch on, like, if you're a gamer, like, if you know a gamer, like, it's super easy to buy gifts for that person. Like,
Facts.
I mean, I know I just got my wife, just for kind of a happy I love you day, like, I got my wife some rose gold leaves from Animal Crossing as earrings. And it's just like, she loves it. And no one's really going to notice the leaves from Animal Crossing unless they know Animal Crossing.
It's just going to be some pretty leaf earrings if they don't know it.
Yeah.
But for the people that do know it, it's like that extra layer of awesome.
Yeah. And it just makes it so easy to buy gifts for the people, like when you know what they like and all that. So it's just really fun that way.
That being said, even on a simpler level, like video games in general are a gamer's an easy person to shop for, because usually around the holidays, it's the best time to buy like the newest games for the cheapest price too, you know?
Well, and also like some things that we used to do, and I've done with other friends as well, is it's like, hey, I know you have your birthday's coming up, so happy birthday. Here's a game. I have it too. Let's play. I want you to play this, so let's play.
Yeah, we have me and my good friend Nick, like that's like pretty much our tradition when it comes to Christmas. If we do gifts that year, we'll just text each other, hey, what game do we want to play together? And then that's what we'll plan. That's what happens most of the time. It was chaos this last year because I was moving, he was moving. But the year before that, we were like, Borderlands 3, let's do that one together. And then we bought that. And it wasn't even that we bought it and we like mailed it to each other because we live in different states. We both looked at each other and went, I'm going to buy it. And it's your gift to me. Thanks, buddy. And you're going to buy it. And it's my gift to you. Thanks, buddy. Like that's how lined up it is, you know?
You do that, and then like the real gift is the time you get to play together.
Exactly. If there was ever a hallmark ending to a podcast episode, this would be it. It's about the time you spend together.
Aww.
Right?
So true.
Anyway, this has kind of been fun. Like it's fun to look back and just think about how far the gaming culture in general has come, but also just like how much of it does affect like these kinds of parts of these aspects of our lives. Yeah,
it really, like, there's a lot of really cool stuff that, I mean, just walking through our house, you'll see it's interesting to walk through my house and find books on video games. Like it's weird that it's so prevalent in everything now.
Yeah. So the end of this, man, we decided that we were going to talk about our favorite and our weirdest gaming related items we have in our house, right?
Yes. And
okay.
Mine, I haven't looked too hard because I'm in a state of chaos in my house, but I got some stuff. So I think I'm first. So my favorite was not including systems or actual games, but my favorite is tied between two of the Christmas presents I got this year. And one was from my wife. She gave me the NES Lego set. It's like an old 80s like TV and console of an NES with Mario. Like the game actually like goes into the console and everything, and you can like move Mario up and down as scrolls through the first level. It's such a cool concept and everything. But so that, and then that's tied with one that I got from my buddy James out in Hawaii. He just sent me, he messages me and he's like, hey, I found this, it's coming, it's going to be late. And that's all. And like, he doesn't say what it is. I open it up and it's a big figurine of Mad Moxie. And James knows me. I love Mad Moxie, especially from Borderlands 3. And
right.
So I'm having a hard time finding a place for this because I'm just thinking I just have to put it right on my desk right next to me.
Dude, just throw it on top of your computer tower. That's where it should live.
Oh, that is the perfect place for it. I'm going to do it.
Yeah, man. That's where
that is a perfect place.
I had my God of War statue up on my computer for a long time. I don't have anything up on my computer right now, but only because I have a large enough loft space that I can fit everything that I need up there. But yeah, before that, that's what it was. I think that for mine, the favorite of mine is a twofold probably. It's and one of them I made myself, but I still love it. Okay, it's family placard that I did for us years ago when I first got into design, and it's a Scott family placard showing like established when we were married, the year we were married, and everything. But the font for the name is done in the Final Fantasy X Yevon font. I actually found the font somehow, and it's got a blitz ball and it's got the sword and everything. So like that's probably my favorite one. But to piggyback off that, my second favorite one is actually one that you did for me, man. And it's the Brotherhood spray that you did. And that one is in my loft up on the top shelf and everything. That's probably my other second favorite one.
Dude, I worked so hard on that because like I did a lot of spray paint at that point, but like I went in with paint markers on that because I was just like, I love this so much. I'm so excited. Like I was so excited to give that to you.
Dude, it's amazing. I love it. One day we'll have to take a picture of it and put it up on our social or something.
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay, right. So now the weirdest ones.
The weirdest ones. And I was kind of racking my brain on this one. But I realized I have like the old PC discs of Warcraft 3 and the expansion. These 2 discs in the cases with the CD key and everything in my desk that I've literally moved from desk to desk, and it has been with me since July 3rd, 2002. I bought it on its release day because I had already been playing a ripped copy of it. But wow. I haven't played this game since like 2004, sometime in 2004. And seriously, I keep these games with me. I just cleaned out my desk a couple weeks ago and I was like, no, I need to keep these. And the funny thing is I don't even have a disk drive anymore.
Yeah.
Like I think I've got a USB one somewhere, which I need to find, but I can't use these discs, and I haven't for years, for over a decade, and yet I still won't get rid of these games.
They just gotta stay just in case.
I guess I don't know. I need to maybe let them go.
So the weirdest one is a tie because both of these are so dumb. And they're ones that I got from limited editions or pre-ordering or something like that. And one of them is a Resident Evil 5 sand globe, because Resident Evil 5 was set in the African desert, right? And so it's a snow globe, but it's filled with actual sand, and it's like Chris Redfield and Sheva, and they are like, and so you can shake it up and they'll be like in a sandstorm, right?
But oh my gosh.
It's actual sand, and so it's too heavy, so it's a really dumb thing for a snow globe. But what makes snow globes interesting is that it floats down slowly. But this isn't the case with this snow globe, which makes it even more ridiculous to own it. But I've had it since the first RE5 release on Xbox. It was part of like a pre-order. And then the other one was part of a pre-order, I think, as well. And it's Gears of War 4 Moscow Mule Cup, like the brass or copper cups that Moscow Mules are made in.
Really?
Yeah, it's the actual mug, and it's a Gears of War coaster, and like the gear emblem coaster, and it came with this limited edition that I got. I don't know if it came with that or if it came with the Lancer I bought, but one of them came with this weird Moscow Mule cup that for some reason they thought that ties into the game, I guess. I don't know.
I have to ask, how many Moscow Mules have you drank out of it?
0. None. It's been on my shelf since I bought it, or since I got it, and I've never used it because my shelf isn't anywhere near my kitchen when I'm drinking. Like, I'm the most lazy drinker ever. I won't get a nice cup or anything. Laurel will make her drinks really nice and stuff. Not me. I'll just drink to get drunk. That's what I do.
Well, if you're gonna drink, yeah, that's what you're doing.
Yeah, priorities, man. Anyway.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's the episode. That's our entire, like, how gaming has seeped into our everyday life kind of roundup. That was fun, man.
Yeah, it was. And we missed stuff, but yeah, it's just kind of a prevalent thing nowadays, and it's so nice to have that as a prevalent thing and not just a, you're a weird gamer anymore.
It's no longer a fringe thing. So it's pretty cool to be able to find this kind of stuff a lot more openly and easily, for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, all right. So that's our episode. We hope you guys liked it. All of our info's at the end stinger. And yeah, we'll talk to you next time.
Thanks. Bye.
Geek Reloading Podcast with Adam and Josh. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Have a question? Email us at geekreloading@gmail.com. Theme song titled Rocket by Kevin MacLeod. You can rate, review, and subscribe to our podcast on your preferred podcast service.